Okay, hello, hello. We are in somatic inquiry from the Alembic at my house, Laura Ward's. And we're going to start today with hands-on. Just taking a couple of deep breaths. Feeling the movement under your hands and feeling your hands on your belly and on your chest. And invite your internal organs to take up space. So we're not going to clench ourselves in or hold in or make ourselves smaller, but take as much space as we need in the interest of allowing the internal structures of our body to have some movement against each other. So like our lungs inside of our ribs have this nice slidey movement, or even our lungs against our heart, hugging our heart, our organs below our diaphragm, our liver, our spleen, our stomach, our intestines, all that stuff, reproductive organs have just a little bit of spaciousness and movement. So let's actually just do a little bit of movement, a little micro movement in our spines to get started. So I'm sitting on a ball, so it's really easy to move. You may be seated or laying down in whatever position feels good for you. Just letting yourself come in, finding micro movement in your body. Relaxing the central channel, softening in. So we could think of it as being like the river of our spine, inviting freedom into the river of our spine, and also spaciousness. So even like the discs between our vertebrae have lots of springiness and room. We have this capacity to lengthen and shorten through the center, through the central channel, through the spine. And then we have these three-dimensional capacities to move and wiggle side, side, forward, backward, up, down, and in any kind of spirally, ripply, undulating combination of that also. Coming in and coming into the breath, the wave of the breath, the rise and fall of the breath. In the Laban work, we talk about growing and shrinking with the breath. So imagining that as you inhale, you're filling up, and this part of you might be growing, but it might be pushing down in your gut body. So like some other part might be getting squished a little bit, but there's this natural internal massage happening from the breath wave, happening on many levels. Lungs are hugging the heart. Inside, the heart is beating against the lungs, right? And the blood is moving back and forth between them as it gets oxygen, returns to the heart, feeds the heart, goes out through the body. So we're inviting our systems to become more coherent in this session, inviting our system or our whole system and all the systems within our system to just align, coming together, coming into harmony and coherence. Coherence in the body means your heart rate is working with your circulation, is working with your digestion, is working with your hormones, is working with your being. So we're inviting in our higher self to come in and just emphasize kindness and resilience within ourselves and within our tissues. Tuning into the sense of growing and shrinking with the breath. We could also think of it as rising and falling. Feeling what's happening with that breath wave as we expand with it and come back in. Really three-dimensionally. And also we can think of how air moves and airflow. Like it's not just going straight, it's moving. It's even within the flow of the air, there's movement. So inviting that movement in through the breath, through the lungs, into the oxygen that's moving through our body, nourishing our tissues, nourishing our muscles, nourishing our organs, clearing away waste as it goes back in CO2, picking up whatever needs to get released and inviting in micro movement with that. Maybe it's full scale, all body micro movement. Maybe it's just small, internal micro movement. Maybe it's macro movement with an underlying micro movement support. As we tune into the sort of fluid nature of being, we have the flow of the liquids in our body, the water flow, we have the air flow, we have the electrical currents, the flow of the currents through our bodies, and we have the flow of life. So we're inviting in vitality, inviting in connection within our own system, within our own body, inviting in all the different selves that we are to be here together in this experience, in our awareness. Nobody is held back or held out. We're just allowing all of it to happen. Everything, everywhere, all of the time. Whatever way we participate with that, we are allowing it. Inviting in micro movement, spirals, ripples, waves, undulations, with an underlying breath support. We could call it a shape flow support. It's the breath, the fluids, the electrical impulses, information moving through our body. And we're inviting it to come in to health, inviting it to come in to resilience. Allowing any kind of rigidity of our patterning about who we are to soften and melt a little bit, giving ourselves more spaciousness to be in any way in our body. Letting your awareness fully land in sensation, in the sound vibration around you, in all the sense gates. So you're allowing whatever's out there to come into your senses, to be with you, experiencing all and any of it, and allowing it to move through you. So we're not gripping onto anything and holding onto anything. We're just letting ourselves be with, as if we're sort of in the ocean of life, floating here easily in the ocean of life. And letting ourselves slow down, calm down. So our parasympathetic nervous system, the sympathetic half of our autonomic nervous system, which is the rest and digest, soothe and settle, is coming online, really giving us a chance to process whatever we need to process. To dial down, releasing whatever little tensions, micro tensions, macro tensions, holding patterns that we're holding on to from just being us as people on the planet. Letting go of the cultural patterning and the cultural anatomy and diving into the sort of primordial anatomy of being a body of water. I'm going to take it down to the floor and I'm going to pour myself from side to side. So just, it doesn't have to be a huge movement, big or small, fast or slow, preferably slow. Letting yourself move as if you're pouring your water, the water of your body, the water in every cell, a little bit from side to side, allowing that to massage and hydrate your inner body. And if you feel like, oh, I just want to be still here, that's totally fine. Or if you feel like, oh, I need to move more, also totally fine. This, whatever I'm offering, is just an offering, it's a suggestion. Your experience might be something very different. But as I come down into the floor, I like feel all sorts of things that I'm like, oh, I can let go of that. And I use movement to just sense and feel into it, feeling into the system, feeling into the fascia and the nervous system in the dance of being me, impulses and awareness moving through my body in that electrical way as it comes in through my nervous system. As my body moves, the movement of the fascia and the nerves tells me what's going on, right? That's a huge part of my proprioception, my kinesthetic awareness, even my interoception of what's going on inside my body. And then it's also the information feeding in from the outer world. How am I vibrating with that? Letting yourself slow down, come down, calm down, and release anything you're ready to let go of. Any old resentments, any old crusty emotions that you don't need to hold on to anymore. And it doesn't even have to be like a big deal. It can just be like, oh, that suddenly just faded away, composted and fertilizing the next moment, composting the past, making space for the future. In the deliciousness of being in a body. So maybe it's easy to feel the painful spots or whatever feels kind of stuck or blocked. See if you can also find things that feel good. And it might be okay to start just renaming sensation as sensation. So, like, instead of it being pain, it's just sensation, taking the good and the bad out of it and just letting it be the experience. I'm going to add the theta breath here. So the theta breath is a soft, gentle hiss, like steam releasing from a radiator. Great way to slow down the exhale even more. And when we slow down the exhale, we naturally drop into that parasympathetic state. Taking resting breaths whenever you need them. So we sort of started with that central channel, and now I'm finding like it's very interesting to feel into the very edges of my body, my fingers and my toes, bringing on this core distal relationship, center to edge, but maybe the awareness is really out there in the edges. If you're exploring somewhere else and you're happy to stay there, that's totally fine. But if it's interesting, bring in these digits, the fingertips, the toes, the feet, the wrists, and ankles. Still doing theta breath. Not shutting out the outer world at all, letting it be with you. I'm going to add music. This is ambient fields. There's 234s. How very interesting. Just let the music be part of your experience, part of the soundscape and the realityscape of what's happening in this moment. And imagine that your body is the music. Or it could be the space where the music is happening. Letting yourself play with whatever is interesting within your body, whatever is interesting within your experience. And inviting in movement, inviting in exploration, as if you've never been in this body before. Just feeling what's possible. How would you move if you didn't know how to move? And you land in this body, exploring the possibilities. Bringing in theta breath whenever you want. Allowing your body to be learning what it is to be a body as you move. And inviting in that aliveness and vitality where your body starts to free up. Tension masks sensation, it blocks emotion, it blocks fluid movement. Oh, that's an Anthony song. I guess we're just going to go with it. A little Latin. I think my playlist is on random. So letting it in, letting the sound in, letting the voice in. Go back for one more. Um, ambient fields. If you get stuck anywhere, just see if you can nudge yourself into movement or slow yourself down. Let your awareness move around in your experience. And sometimes, like, the inner sensations for me can be very, let's say, biomorphic. They're shifting and changing. And sometimes they're very pinpointed and clear in one area, and sometimes they're more like a night sky in all sorts of different areas. All the stars, the movement of a galaxy. Giving yourself complete permission to take up whatever space you need to take up, to move in whatever time you need to move within, slow, fast, stillness. And to let your awareness meander inside your experience. And anytime you come across any little bit of tension or big bit of tension, if it can release, just offer it the chance to soften and melt. Sometimes just by shining the light of awareness onto something, it can reabsorb or integrate into your body. When we shift our own movement patterning, we open up a lot of potential within ourselves. Potential energy, potential healing, potential relationship, and integration. Trusting that whatever you're doing is the exact right thing for you right now. Doesn't have to look like what anyone else is doing or what I'm doing. Imagining that inside your body, your nervous system is suspended and supported and being nourished just by being inside your body. So there's this suspension and support and the opportunity to flourish. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat, your pulse, the breath flow. Maybe you can even feel the sort of aliveness in your whole body. The electrical system of your heartbeat, every cell in your body, your nervous system buzzing with aliveness. And letting your hands connect to body parts. Just giving yourself the sensation of being here. Self-touch, a hug or touch on the face or the hair or the heart. Or any other body part. If you have any injury or if you have anything that needs healing, let the hands go there. Let the hands hold or touch the area with kindness, with love, with gentleness. The healing hands, washing away whatever stickiness or tightness or stuckness is in there. Just letting the energy of our own hands help enliven and clear our system. Inviting in the nourishment, the rest, receiving, and letting go whatever you're ready to let go of, whatever's on its way out. So we felt that core distal pattern, or that, head tail pattern, central channel pattern to begin with, and then the core distal. And then when we come back to self-touch, we're bringing that core distal back into that central channel, into that pattern, so that it's one whole relationship. All of these things interconnected, interwoven, and layered, like they're shifting and changing every day, every minute. Little micro shifting and changing is happening, whether we pay attention to it or not. And our nervous systems and our hormonal systems and our stress systems are very interwoven and interconnected with each other. in ways that are beyond most people's capacity to feel and sense. So when we work on this sort of self-clearing, soothing, aligning our own systems, it has a good effect on the life around us, whether it's the plants, the animals, or the other people. And especially as there's so much going on in the world, finding ways to come back and nourish, drink from the source, so important. With compassion, with kindness, and with acceptance, with equanimity. Fade that out or not, whether it does it or not. Just taking a few more minutes to process the processing, coming into the silence of your own experience without the music. Letting yourself be with yourself, be with the moment. Be with the earth underneath us, the air that we breathe, the air all around us, the water in our bodies, the water in the rain, the water in the bodies of water around us, the other walking human bodies of water and small creatures and plants. Right? The water that I drink may later be water that you drink. We're sharing in this whole system of fluid water within this atmosphere, within this planet. And then also sort of the fire, the heat, the passion, the sun, our light, our energy, our connections, our heart energy, which the heart does have electrical energy. That's part of the electricity in the body. And then the spaciousness all around us, the spaciousness within us. Tuning to that. The equanimity of the spaciousness. If I move through the space is still the space. The space is not judging. If you made it through, bravo. Thank you for that. You may want to just take the rest of your day or the next little while to be sort of softer and gentle before you go into full-on beast mode anywhere.